If President Trump won't defend himself and his family and won't recognize what he's doing, won't recognize that his advisors put the worst deep state people in to betray him over and over again, then I'm going to fight the globalists. I'm going to fight for family values. I'm going to fight not to sexualize children. I'm going to fight for sovereignty and better trade deals, but I'm going to abandon President Trump.
Beware the Ides of March, because I think that is their game plan. That's what my sources, that's what your sources are telling us. Their plan A has always been to try to jack the president up on some bogus, fabricated claim of Russian collusion, because you see that not only removes Donald Trump, but it also would remove Vice President Mike Pence, paving the way for a Pelosi presidency. She then designates Hillary as her vice president. Then Pelosi resigns, Hillary becomes president, and the 2016 presidential election is voided. That is their plan.
Mr. President, appoint a special counsel to Uranium One. Get Tucker Carlson to advise you. Bring in Roger Stone. They're ready. Tucker Carlson is ready. Rand Paul is advising you. Some of the best advice you get. Bring them in now. Roger Stone, do it now. It's Friday, January 18th, 2019. I'm Alex Jones, your host. As we speak, Robert Mueller, through ABC News, The Washington Post, has let us know he plans to arrest myself, my father, Roger Stone, for hush money payments to Dr. Jerome Corsi that are 100% total fabrications and lies. But it's just like the other desperation that's going to be breaking very soon. Over the weekend, other attempts by Mueller to set up InfoWars, the documents, all of it. We didn't leak it. Somebody did. So, okay, fine. We'll cover it. Again, they did it themselves. This is incredible. Roger, let's speak to the president now about where we stand and what he needs to do if he's going to stop this, because I have to tell President Trump something. I only got mad at him over a year and a half ago when he promised not to strike Syria and they had a false flag and he did it. And I thought he was going back on warmongering and stopping that. And now I really respect him, as Rand Paul does, very proud of him, not wanting to destabilize the Middle Eastern areas, but wanting to bring back our troops, save the money, to rebuild our infrastructure, take care of our veterans, put in space-based weapons that give us real dominance, not our troops dying in sand and blood. That said, though, if President Trump won't defend himself and his family and won't recognize what he's doing, won't recognize that his advisors put the worst deep state people in to betray him over and over again, then I'm going to fight the globalists. I'm going to fight for family values. I'm going to fight not to sexualize children. I'm going to fight for sovereignty and better trade deals, but I'm going to abandon President Trump, because it's not that he's even a lesser of two evils. If he doesn't take action, he's allowing them to set him up and destroy him. So in the 8 minutes we have left, our message from Alex Jones and Roger Stone about what Trump needs to do to take action or destroy himself and the country.
Well, Alex, I would say beware the Ides of March, because I think that is their game plan. That's what my sources, that's what your sources are telling us. Their plan A has always been to try to jack the president up on some bogus, fabricated claim of Russian collusion, because you see that not only removes Donald Trump, but it also would remove Vice President Mike Pence, paving the way for a Pelosi presidency. She then designates Hillary as her vice president. Then Pelosi resigns, Hillary becomes president, and the 2016 presidential election is voided. That is their plan. Let's make no mistake about it. Now, the president can do a number of things, but tweeting about them is not going to do it. A, he needs to order his Justice Department to initiate antitrust action against the Google giants, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Apple, etc., immediately. Because if we can't communicate among each other, and if we can't amplify his message, his chances of saving his presidency are zero. Secondarily, the best defense is an offense. He needs to instruct the acting attorney general, Matthew Whitaker, who's going to be there until Mr. Barr is presumably confirmed, to appoint a special counsel on the matter of Uranium One, convene a grand jury, and bring criminal indictments against everyone involved, including Bill, Hillary, Mr. Mueller, and others. Thirdly, he needs to limit the probe, which there are constitutional arguments that he can do, of the current Mueller investigation to Russian collusion, of which there is none. Zero. Nada. Then he clearly needs to move to fortify his support in the United States Senate. The House is history. The House, under the tutelage of Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, and this cabal of criminals, is going to vote articles of impeachment. Now, they don't want to do it on the basis of his tax returns or his real estate developments or the use of his hotels by government officials. It has to be Russia related because they have to get Pence too. Although, don't get me wrong, the deep state would be much happier with a Pence presidency as long as they can get rid of Donald Trump.
But Hillary and the globalists and Soros and the Chi-Coms, they want total power. They want implosion of America, men and women fighting with each other, race war. The Democrats are ready to deliver the Marxian takedown.
Well, and let's be very clear what they have in mind for you and me and your dad. They're going to attempt to indict us for witness tampering based on a phony allegation put forward by Jerry Corsi, who used to work at InfoWars, that for some reason payments made to him for the actual work he did at InfoWars constituted hush money. Hush money for what? The whole thing is bullshit with an F. It's nonsense. The whole idea that the memo he created documenting the Podesta brothers' Russian involvement was part of a cover story. That would be what we're supposedly covering up.
And you have all the emails, all the texts. I was there. This is insane. But that's what I mean. Well, here's the deal. They're announcing they're going to indict his stepson, who worked for him and reportedly wiped a computer. And, you know, it's just, listen, that's why I jumped on him so hard when we first learned that he was putting out all this bull, was because I was there when he was drunk, falling down. He's like, you're shameful. You and Roger are going to get it. I've been with the government for a long time. And I guess he was like an FBI informant forever, like in Eastern Europe or something. I mean, I know he wrote all these best-selling books and stuff for Lou Dobbs and everything, but let's talk about that. He developed the fake birther thing that created division. This guy pushed QAnon. I think he is actually Q.
Well, just the fact that he would go on the air with Ari Melber, just the fact that he would talk to Shelby Holiday, who is a deep state quisling and the single most.
You ever notice no one will interview me? Like, I am the guy they will not talk to.
Well, you know what? Clearly, I'm moving into the same realm. I mean, very deeply disappointed that Trish Regan, who I really like at Fox, has now given Jerry Corsi a forum twice to defame me, lying with a straight face. By the way, you can always tell when Jerry's lying. His lips are moving. But they won't afford me an opportunity to come on and defend myself.
Don't you think they're going to give him the Cohen treatment, though? That, you know, after they've squeezed everything out of him, they want to discredit him because he worked with them, and they'll just kind of flush him down the toilet?
Oh, there's no question. He will do his dirty work to try to take us down, but he will not escape the wrath of the special counsel. They will destroy him, too. That's the sad part. You would think with a person of his sophistication who's been around the block that he would understand that. But he is getting the worst possible advice from this clown, Larry Klayman.
Well, also, I think there's a lot of alcohol-induced dementia.
Well, it's true. And people need to understand. Klayman was ousted from Judicial Watch, an organization he founded, over a sexual harassment claim. He was also disciplined by the D.C. bar. He was thrown off the Bundy case.
Well, let's be clear. I don't want to get in a fight with Klayman, but I was walking through the office a few months ago. I think Owen had him on or something. He's like, I'm loyal. Of course he's loyal. And I hope Alex is loyal. And it was like a hunting dog looking at a rabbit. And I was like, what the? And I called you and you go, oh, yeah, man, I've been warned. And it's like, you see this stuff. And then, like, as you know, I don't give it an inside baseball. The media admits that Corsi is the one, like they've got us telling us that we gave him hush money. It's outrageous. It's just insane.
It's not like we enjoy attacking people who are ostensibly other conservatives or other Trump supporters, because we don't. But we're not the ones bearing false witness against Jerry Corsi. Jerry Corsi has agreed to a pack of lies suggested to him by Robert Mueller. And he intends to be their bitch. And it is very, very disappointing. I know you, Alex, and I know myself in my own heart. I will fight to the bitter end. You can threaten to indict my wife. You can threaten to attack my children. They stand with me. We will fight. We have done nothing wrong. We have broken no laws. There is no Russian collusion. There is no WikiLeaks collaboration. And Jerry Corsi is an alcohol-addled liar who was perfectly willing to throw
here's the bottom line. He's just Judas Iscariot because they can't starve us out and they can't make us run. I mean, it really comes down, and let's get past us. We're important, but they're making their move on Trump. They're making it in March, we've been told. They've got all their fake stuff going on. And they're threatening everybody. Most people are rolling over. It's very, very sad. And these are the globalists. Mueller works, and sells us out to the Chi-Coms, the Russians, everybody. They're making their big, giant move now. And Trump, we're going to introduce Dr. Nick Begich, whose dad was killed, assassinated for being a patriot. His brother's been a U.S. senator. We'll both introduce him coming up. But again, one more appeal to the president. Mr. President, appoint a special counsel to Uranium One. Get Tucker Carlson to advise you. Bring in Roger Stone. They're ready. Tucker Carlson is ready. Rand Paul is advising you. Some of the best advice you get. Bring them in now. Roger Stone. Do it now. All right. Nick Begich, great patriots taking over. I wanted to get final comments from Roger Stone, but I've made my statement to Trump. I've made my statement to the world. I've made my statement about how they're now trying to put myself and my dear sweet father in prison. That makes me want to fight that much harder against these liars and make sure Robert Mueller goes to prison and Hillary Clinton goes to prison. And the stakes are so high, and these people, these sociopaths, are reaching for it all. But in closing, Roger, I wanted to give the deep state a warning and have you speak to that, because Trump's right when he told prominent individuals recently that he believes Americans are too well armed. He means that in a good way, and that they will have a civil war if they try to remove him. Well, that's true if he leads and doesn't just send out tweets and really gets on the offense about what's happening. I don't want to have that civil war. But at the same time, I can't, as I've said 1,000 times, the globalists were just boss hogs, and they just wanted to run stuff, and they weren't trying to teach kids how to have sex with pedophiles or pushing all this evil globalism or bringing in radical Muslims. I'd oppose them and be for another group that was better, but I would not be risking my life. It's not just an honor. It's a duty and a pleasure and a compulsion to fight this new world order, because even if I was an atheist, if you look at this globalist system, it's the definition of Satan. So I think the establishment needs to know, and all these vitriolic, low IQ people that have some existential envy or of success or goodness or whatever it is, that want a war with everybody, I don't think they understand the door they're opening, because I can play a few pieces down the board here, which it seems evil people don't ever look into deeper levels. And all I see is their total destruction, which I don't even want. But if my destruction has to trigger in the end what has to happen, I am extremely honored. So I want to go out as a winner, whether we get them to back off and stop, we have any renaissance, or whether we get destroyed this process. They're going to lie about us, create a false history. I just want folks to know we are where we wanted to be, and we stood up for what was right, Roger.
Well, Alex, several months ago, you told me great detail about a sting operation in which there was an attempt to set you up with faux evidence of Russian collusion.
And I gave you the documents.
I've reviewed them. It's completely bogus, but it's outrageous. It was the most brazen thing I've ever seen. Just to be clear, you've never taken a dime from any Russian entity, period. None. RT, the Internet Research Agency, anybody else, Concord. This is all BS. BS that now, sadly, is not only being promulgated by the likes of Adam Schiff and Robert Mueller and other deep staters, but with the complicity of Dr. Jerry Corsi, Judas Iscariot. Now he's using MSNBC, CNN to defame me, now to defame you. People need to understand he's a quisling. He's a snake in the grass. He's not a supporter of the president. He's not the patriot we thought he was. It's wounding, because I did have some affection for him. I did have some respect for him. But now I understand he's prepared to say whatever his new handlers want him to say in an effort to help close InfoWars down and destroy you, and more importantly, at this point, destroy me, because they're afraid I might tell the president. And let's
be honest. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
Declassify the documents, Mr. President. Bring the whole house of cards down. Devin Nunes has seen the FISA warrants. He knows it leads directly.
Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes are amazing patriots. They've been they're willing to fight. Rand Paul's willing to fight. And let's expand on that. one man against a bunch of cowards is, 100 to 1 will win. That's the thing that's so painful about all this, is that we have all the cards and then we sit back and ask, why doesn't Trump play the cards?
It confounds me. And then watching Rudy Giuliani, who I like, and who's an old friend of mine, who I think it has the president's best interests at heart, say, well, there may have been Russian collusion, but Donald Trump didn't know about it. What is he talking about? $30 million, 2 years in, they don't have a shred, a scintilla.
Well, his full quote was, they haven't found any evidence, but I'm not omnipresent. I represent the president. He 100% hasn't. Because they don't know what, like one more guy talked to a Russian once or whatever. His full thing makes sense. He's just being too real with these people, not knowing what liars they are. Like Steve King said, national, white supremacism is not the same as nationalism. And then they turn that into, he defends white supremacism. The quote, any moron can see what it says, but they make it all a false quote. So I just think his failure is Giuliani doesn't understand we're entering the end game here, where they are going to lie about the president at every level.
There's no question. They have shifted into high gear. So at least previously, you could combat the lies with truth and the lack of evidence, the lack of corroboration. But now none of that matters. I watched Anderson Cooper, who I kind of like, to be honest with you. He's always been very fair with me on the air. But the other night, insisting that Trump was involved with the Russians. Well, wait a minute. What about Barack Obama saying into a hot mic, after I'm reelected, I'll have more.
But what about Uranium One? The crazy part is they show an image of Trump at G20 meetings, and they go, look, he's with them. It's like you read the article, it's like 5 pages long. There's no proof. Yeah, it's next level, believe me. Having them try to say that my dad works for the Russians and, all the rest of it is just, I already knew it was BS, but now it actually makes me not be afraid at all. It just makes me go into total war mode because, I mean, my God, Whitey Bulger worked with Mueller to kill all these people and do all this horrible stuff. Mueller is a drug-dealing pimp. Mueller is like just a horrible psychotic. And people go, yeah, he's a psychotic. Back down. No. Let me tell you something. God's going to deal with Robert Mueller. And I'm not going to be the one spending 100,000 trillion years in a subterranean dungeon with the devil. So just, whatever. Roger, great job. I'm going to introduce Nick Begich, whose dad was a famous congressman, clearly murdered, and then for being a patriot, then his brother, U.S. Senator, about his take on this. Appreciate letting it take 30 minutes of it, but this is epic, breaking, global exclusive news. They're now trying to put me in prison, my father, everything. They've got ABC News, the Washington Post, all calling up, salivating. They're about to run a coup on the president. We've now entered 0 hour. Thank you, Roger. God bless. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, the new year is here. And I personally, in the new year, am looking at all the great supplements and products at InfoWarsLife.com and saying, what do I need to take religiously that I'm forgetting to take, that lowers inflammation, that empowers all the cells in the body, that makes me healthier, better stamina, libido, energy? And it's these 3 babies. It's Body's Ultimate Turmeric Formula with 95% curcuminoid. Nobody else can top that. Top of the line in the nation. It's X3 that has all 3 of the good types of iodine together, including the deep earth crystal iodine. Because some people can't absorb that type, we put a little bit of the other 2 types and a tiny bit of vitamin C to stabilize it. And then Super Male and Super Female Vitality. Super Male Vitality's been our overall most successful product, neck and neck with Brain Force Plus. But because it's wildcrafted and a proprietary process, we weren't able to get it for long periods of time. And so I made the decision just to discontinue it and try to reformulate. But it's been very, very hard to do. So we're not discontinuing it because it's crap. We're discontinuing it because we can't get it. It may come back in the future, but right now we're just not able to bring it. It's our last run of it. Proprietary, amazing. It's at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Body's Turmeric Formula. And it's supercharged with other key ingredients that supercharge it, bring it to the next level. And then, of course, it's the X3. It's our final run of X2. We've secured the deep earth iodine, but I thought just make a better one with all 3 types and the vitamin C. So get your X2, get your X3, all at InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. And again, have a great New Year as we fight the globalists and restore the republic and freedom to the planet. Thank you all.